Hey everybody, this is Michelle Baker with Introduction to Graphic Design, and I'm going to go ahead and do a quick tutorial for exercise 20. And we have 4 images here that we are going to retouch in Photoshop. So to get those images, you just click on the link. And I have 2 downloads here. I wanted to show you again, you just double click on the blue folder. And you can click and hold the shift button or click and drag. That's not working. Click and hold the shift button to select each of the files, and then right click on top of the blue color, open with Adobe Photoshop. And all 4 files will open fairly quickly for you at once. And this just helps you save a little bit of time. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the tattoo retouch. I'm going to hit Command plus and zoom in on this picture. And then you can grab your hand and manipulate your picture till you get to the tattoo up close. Okay, and then I'm going to use, for this, I'm going to use the patch tool to touch up this tattoo. So the goal is to take the tattoo off with the patch tool. And so when you hover over the patch tool, it gives you a little quick example of what this tool does. In this little video, it takes out the shoes in the grass. So let me show you how this works. Click on the patch tool, and I'm going to start with just the first word, which is butterfly. And I'm just going to drag it around like a little pencil and make sure that I connect my lines. So I need this much space in the color that I want. And so I'm going to find some skin and opening to sample. It's going to sample this color right here. And then I just let go and it changes it. I hit Command D to deselect and it looks great. So then I just do the second word. Once you get the running ants, click and drag it into the color that you want and let go. It looks pretty good. Hit Command D. And that looks really, really good. So that's the patch tool. And the tattoo retouch is finished. So if you would, just hit File, Save As, and save this. You can put your name on it. I'm going to put Michelle Tattoo Retouch and save it as a JPEG. And click OK, and then submit that to the assignment page. And here's the instructions here. Save the completed images as a JPEG and upload them to the assignment folder to complete the assignment. Okay, so that's the first, the tattoo retouch. Let's go ahead and go to the stain on the white shirt. You know, sometimes you don't know what the right tool to use is, so you can just give it a try. I'm thinking the patch tool is still going to be a good tool for this one as well. So let's just see what it looks like. Once you get the running ants, click and drag to a space that you think would look good to sample and hit Command D to get the running ants off. Looks pretty good. There's a little bit of a little water stain here. So you can kind of, use the patch tool again and maybe sample some color somewhere else so that it doesn't look like a Photoshop job. Then hit Command D, and it looks pretty good. These are just looks like the shading that's on the rest of the shirt. If I wanted to mess with this a little bit, I could take this clone stamp here. Again, the video that pops up shows you how it works. When you click on the clone stamp, you get this little circle. You can make this circle bigger by going up to the size of your circle up here in the top and making it larger that way. Then you see a preview of your circle is a little bit bigger. An easier way to do it as well is there's a button to the right of the letter P on your keyboard, it looks like a parentheses. There's one on the left and one on the right. The one on the left makes the brush smaller. Oh, but first you have to get out of this. Sorry. Okay, so your keyboard, the letter P, just to the right of it is a parentheses, two sets. The one on the left makes your brush smaller. If you look at mine, it's getting smaller. The one on the right, the parentheses on the right, makes it get bigger. So if I wanted it about this size, I've got this clone stamp. I'm going to sample this color here by clicking Option and click. Now I've got that color. I come over and it kind of shows me what it's about to put down. You see, when I hover over this, it's showing me that it's going to put that white color down on that little place I want to cover up. So I put it there and I hit click. Now you see that black cross? That is sampling. As I move my brush, it's sampling all that color. Wherever that black cross is, that's the color that it's sampling. So that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna stop with that and hit File, Save As, save on my computer. And I'm just gonna name it Michelle Stain Retouch and submit that as the format JPEG. That's a photo. And click OK. All right, let's go to our next one. It is a logo. First of all, I want to zoom in on this. I do not want to use the clone stamp right now, so I'm going to just click on my Move tool. And I want to zoom in on this. I can do that with the Zoom tool, or I can hit Command plus. Okay, so I want to use the hand tool to grab it right in the center of where I'm at. All right, so I think the patch tool would work pretty good here. And maybe the clone stamp will have to be used as well. So let's just give it a try. Sometimes you bite off small chunks and of what you're trying to clone or to use with the patch tool. So sometimes you have to do half of it first, but I think I can do the whole logo. Yeah, it actually looks pretty good. Yep, good enough. And then I hit Command minus to zoom back out. And it really looks good. All right, so then you would save that one the same way that we saved the other two. File, Save As. Never hurts to see it more than once when you're learning something new. Shell, Logo, Retouch. All right, now the last one is a little bit harder. It's the Acne Retouch. So I'm going to hit Command plus and zoom in real close. Now you don't have to edit all of this, but I do want to show you how you can do this in photos for clients if they wish to have it off. So you can do it several ways. You can use the patch tool and you can give that a try. But if it doesn't work, there's other tools that you can use as well. So with the patch tool, we're just going to try to take some of the redness off of her face and see how it looks. I hit Command D to get the running hits off, and it looks pretty good. So you just take a small section at a time with the patch tool. This is my new favorite tool. So we just want to go to an area where we want to sample some of the color. And hit Command D, and it's looking pretty good. It did leave a little bit of redness that I don't really care for. So what I think I'll do is come back to that in a second and touch it up with the clone tool. But I want to get the majority of the dark redness off with this patch tool. Okay, so again, the way we're using the patch tool is almost like a pencil. We're just making a line around what we want to change. We connect the lines, and then we click and drag and sample some color from somewhere else. And then you let go, and you hit Command D to get the ants off and see if you like what you have. And you just keep working with it until you get it where you want it. So I'm getting the majority of the redness off. Click and drag over here and sample. How about this color? Let's sample some of this color right here. Okay, Command D. All right, now that's the majority of the big blemishes. Let's try this one real quick with the patch tool and see how it turns out. And then we may have to touch it up with maybe the clone tool. Okay, so it's pretty big. So I want to find some clear space to sample. So I'm going to come over here, and hopefully it won't be as pink when it lets go. And it's not. It did a good job. Okay, so if I wanted to clear up the line right here, I may use this clone tool by clicking on the clone tool. I want my brush to be a little smaller, so I'm going to hit the parentheses that's just to the right of my letter P and make it about this size. Now it's white because the t-shirt that we sampled a minute ago, but I'm going to sample this clear skin right here by hitting Option, and it gives me this symbol right here that's going to select the color right there. And I hit click while I have the Option button held down. And then when I hover over this red dot, it's showing me that it's going to put this skin color over this red dot. And so then I just start to click, and it is sampling the skin where the black cross is appearing. So it's going to give me that color. So if that black cross travels upward, it's going to continue to sample. If it starts to make a visible pattern, you just stop and resample a different area. Click Option and click the skin and put down the color. All right, and over here, let's fix this. I'm going to use the patch tool again for this. And so again, this picture doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want to see that you were able to get the majority of the big blemishes off. And see how nice that looks? It's doing a good job. And so the key might be to sample little small areas and fix it slowly rather than trying to do the whole chin at one time. That's the key to making it look like it's natural. Click and drag it to the skin you want to sample. And release. And Command D to deselect. Looks pretty good. Might need to do some cloning right there to fix it and make it look a little more natural. So I'm going to clone the skin here by clicking Option and click with my mouse and then hover up here just a little. Ooh, I don't like that. So I'm going to hit Command Z and undo. Command Z, undo one more time. There. All right, so we've gotten a lot off. And so you can also go up and do some work here on the forehead if you like. Just play around and just see. Now, I'd like you for your own self to save a layer to look at when you're done, see how far you actually brought the edits. And you can see your work. And the way that you can do that is by going over here to layers and clicking on layers and actually take the lock off by clicking on the lock. Make sure this layer is lit up light gray and hit Command J to make yourself a copy. Do that before you start the edits. And then what you can do is take the eyeball off and lock the layer. And this can be just your original. So you can call it copy before edits. Name it whatever you want. And so then you can go back and you can see what you did, your original photo. All right, so that is how we're going to edit these 4 photos, and then you'll submit them for exercise 20. So again, the acne doesn't have to be perfect, but let me see that you did try to take off most of it, and it's pretty cool editing ability here with this patch tool. and try to do, it will not make any edits if you're on the wrong layer. So right now it's not letting me use the patch tool because I'm on the wrong layer. So I gotta be on this layer to do any edits. All right, one more little edit and then I'm going to end this video so it's not too long for y'all. All right, there we go. That when I did that, it looked a little too smooth right here. So I would take the clone stamp, I would make it a little bigger and clone some skin over here by clicking Option and clicking on my mouse and just bringing some skin over on top of the smooth area that looks just too smooth. And then sample some on the other side and fix some of the areas that just look a little too smooth. Now, if it starts looking worse, it may be that we need to turn the opacity down just a little bit on it and make our brush a little smaller. So you can turn your opacity down right here. It'll take more clicks to get what you want done, but it'll look a little more natural too. So I just turn the opacity down. And you kind of have to go slow with it as well. And if you're just not happy with it, you can also hit Command Z to back up from where you were. You can also go to this history button here, this history tool. Over here, you see my mouse wiggling, and that can take you back to the place you were before you made the changes. All right, so those are the tools that I think will be most helpful for this assignment. That's the patch tool and the clone stamp. And that's it. Thank y'all.